Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Into the Hive Mind. We are looking at another battle report today, where I ended up going up against Steve Trimble, who has his own YouTube channel called Deploy on the Line. Um, that is an absolutely fitting name for someone like Steve Trimble. I've played this guy a number of times, and honestly, the first time I played against him was at Charity Hammer. Very fun event where he was playing nothing but Plague Marines in Rhinos. Um, and it was 6 Rhinos full of Plague Marines with Mortarion deployed on the line. Shove. So I love the fact that he has created a YouTube channel all about that. So go check it out if you want to see what he has to talk about. But he is going to be playing Spectacle of Spite. My last video was me talking about my losing lessons from getting my butt kicked by the Spectacle of Spite and basically all of the tiny little misplays that I did in the process. And I decided to see how much I could learn from that lesson, and let's go ahead and play against it again, except this time against one of the guys who's one of the best Drukhari players in the world. He did go 6-1 at Worlds with this army, so definitely I'm just going to take it all the way to the top and see if I learned anything. And this is going to be my second rep against this army at all. So let's dive in. Let's see what he's looking at. So, looking at Steve's list. So again, this is Spectacle of Spite. This is a detachment that is all about just really fast melee, full of witches, hellions, and reavers. So taking a look at Steve's list, a little bit different than the list that I fought against Nick in that Steve has brought all of the transports and no scourges is the main difference. Again, this is very much Steve. He likes to just deploy everything on the line and shove. So scourges get in the way of that plan. And so yeah, taking a look at the list, we have 4 Venoms and a Raider. So again, the Raider has that 6-inch disembark new trick, and the Venoms split up all of the witches into 5-person squads. So Steve has 4 5-person witches outside of transports, but then all the way up to 6 squads within transports. You have Lady Malice with the Vect Aura. That's what that little blue bubble is there. 25 Hellions. These guys are absolutely insane because their pain token ability is +1 strength and attack. So they go up to 4 attacks each at 5-1-2, except they also have Lance. So 5-1-2 Lance, 4 attacks per guy. That's 40 attacks. And you have the drugs at the beginning of each turn. If you choose the +1 attack, 50 attacks at 5-1-2 Lance. Or 40 attacks with +1 weapon skill, and they all hit on 2s. Pretty insane unit. They also just move 14 base, so all aggro all the time. He is also looking at 15 Reavers. So 663, these guys move 16 inches base, have decent guns. For every 3 bikes, they have a Melta Lance or a Heat Lance, which is strength 14, AP 4, D6, Melta 3 damage. Absolutely insane. And it's 2 shots. So the 6-man squads have 4 shots with those, and that's how this list deals with tanks. And everything else is just like anti-infantry something and has an unbelievable amount of attacks. So that's the list, and he's got a Chronos to regen some pain tokens. But yeah, we are looking at, I believe, 40 witches, maybe 50. Yeah, we're looking at 50 witches, 3 succubus and Lilith, and Lady Malice, as well as 25 Hellions, 15 Reavers. It is just all in on the entire theme of the detachment, and just, again, deploy on the line and go. And let's take a look at what I'm playing. So for this game, I am playing my Adeptus Mechanicus, although I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I am still trying the indirect that I played against Nick, but I am testing out how I would do in a Explorator Maniple detachment, which is getting a little bit crazy with it, but essentially just trying to really take advantage of the indirect, where in Explorator Maniple in your command phase, you pick an objective. Any of your guys or their guys that are on that objective, you get reroll 1s to wound with. So that's really it. In terms of strats, they're pretty bad, all of them. The only one that's good is spend a CP to make a second objective also count as your target for the battle round. But yeah, really just taking it for reroll ones with indirect. So in this, all of the indirect tanks are going to sit on my home and fire indirect, and they will get reroll ones to wound as they do so. And then I did take one Tech Priest Engine Seer to go alongside the tanks, and he has an enhancement to basically, he's also going to be sitting on my home. So in each command phase, when I pick my home, if he is on it, on a 4-up, I get a command point. Which is nice. Getting some CP gen for AdMech is pretty good. Obviously, we have Call. We have 2 units of 5 Rust Stalkers, 3 units of 5 Infiltrators, another unit of 10 Rust Stalkers that are going to be going inside a Dune Strider, 2 units of 5 Flamer Taraxi. We're going to try these guys out because, again, basically, after going over the last video, I just wanted to have more units with activations. So that's what these guys are here for. The Sky Stalkers are probably better, but I kind of like having a designated Overwatch threat. So these guys having Flamers are good at that. And also, I needed a bit more of a screen. In the last game, I had 50 battle line, and now I'm down to just 20, but I want to try the Sidonian Dragoons as just kind of a wall that, again, can take a hit as being T7 with 7 wounds and a 3-up, 5-up. They do have stealth as well, but take a hit and then still be able to fall back and charge and basically act, because my screen worked great in the last game, except for the fact that once it was tied up, it couldn't do anything. So it took the hit, and it even lived sometimes, but it didn't matter because then it couldn't do anything. These Dragoons, if they live, they can fall back and charge and still play the game. But that's the list. I've got Call, 2 battle line. We're looking at what? That's 35 elite infantry, goes to 45 if you include the Taraxi. 3 indirect tanks, 2x2 melee Dragoons, Call, Engine Seer. We'll see how this list does against honestly, I think one of the new terrors of the meta, and especially against Steve, who is obviously a phenomenal player. We are playing very simple layout 1, take and hold, 40k, so about as basic as you can get. Good test for the armies. We're even playing tipping point. So this is deployment. As you can see, I have put all of my tanks on my home objective next to the Engine Seer, so I will just be electing my home objective as the set objective for the Explorator Maniple, meaning all of these guys are going to be rerolling 1s to wound, and at the beginning of each command phase, I will get a CP on a 4+. In terms of other deployment, I do have Infiltrators all forward. I didn't really know where to put this 3rd squad, but again, I don't think Steve has that many guns, so I essentially put him in such a spot where anyone who's going to come and play with these guys is at least not going to be able to be behind a wall, trying to learn that lesson from last time as well, that this is a melee army that I want to have fight me out in the open so I can shoot and destroy him in response with ease. I'm also trying to make everyone where they're not so close that he can hit me, like hit 2 of my units effectively with 1 of his and pick up both units. Because I definitely don't want like the Witches to pick up 1 Infiltrator squad and Lilith to pick up the other. That is a mistake that I made in the last game. So I want to be far enough apart that he cannot do that effectively, but close enough that I could heroically intervene if I want to. So that is the attempts here. I do have the Rust Stalkers threatening this objective with 10 more Rust Stalkers in this transport ready to go out as well. Everyone is relatively hidden from the little bit of shooting that he has other than this 1 squad and the Dragoons. But again, these guys are just kind of bait. Anything that Steve hits me with in this front line, I am lined up to have a very quick response. And again, I need to be aware of his reactive moves and his reactive charges, which is the kind of game-breaking aspect of this detachment. Steve, for his part, has basically just deployed everything in behind walls in relative safety, but also everything is absurdly fast. And you can just turn 1, choose the drug that gives you +2 movement as well. So everything can move, 16 inches for Hellions, 18 inches for Reavers, and then the Witches have built-in advance and charge, and they can disembark 6 outside of the Raider. It's the fastest army in the game, hands down. But I did go first, and actually what you see here is this was my oath target. Let's go back. There were 6 Reavers here, so Call went ahead, put his oath on these Reavers, and then my tanks moved forward. I kind of pushed out, but still trying to be pretty defensive. I just put one thing on every objective to force Steve to come out and play the game. And I pushed all the tanks up to be able to get within range of my oath target. And between all 3 of the indirect tanks and oath and rerolling 1s to wound, I did kill 5 of the 6 Reavers, even from just indirect. So that's pretty nice to be able to remove that early on. I think he actually even has just 1 wound left on this guy. Everyone else just kind of, again, repositioning, trying to do what I was talking about, where he can't kill more than 1 unit at a time, ideally, with one of his units, and hopefully I can kind of play that trading game. I am in the -1 to hit in melee doctrine, and I would like to remain in that for pretty much the entirety of this game. For Steve's turn 1, he does just kind of stage, push up. I believe this is the end of his movement. The 1 Reaver did move up here with a Heat Lance to shoot at these guys. I was hoping to Overwatch, but he did actually cut this angle just barely, so I was not able to Overwatch the 1 wound guy. Actually, no, I even elected to actually Overwatch because I don't know what else I'm spending CP on in this detachment. Like I said, all my strats are pretty bad. So I actually Overwatched with these 2 pistols. He's still my oath target, so I had rerolls. Unfortunately, still didn't hit. But everything else is just kind of staging. So every single one of these transports is completely full. And as you can see, he's just kind of positioning. He is coming over to basically steal all of the objectives. This Reaver is also OC2 for some reason. So he's actually contesting the center with this guy and some Hellions to come over here to contest this objective. And yeah, that is the end of Steve's 1. Again, we're just playing the positioning game. And I don't remember what his secondaries were, but I believe it was Cleanse was one of them, and maybe Secure. He got them both clearly, but I had Overwhelming Force and Establish Locus, so that's what I'm drawing for turn 2, because that's definitely not what I had turn 1. And yeah, this is the beginning of turn 2. I draw Overwhelming Force, Establish Locus. Steve is up 3 points on secondary at the end of turn 1. There we go. So I think this is the actual state of the board at the end of turn 1, where he charged and he managed to kill the infiltrators, but they did battle shock the Witches in return. His shooting did manage to kill 3 of my Rust Stalkers, and then he did also charge and kill my infiltrators over here. The Hellions charged and killed the infiltrators over here. So I'm down to just 5 infiltrators, 2 Rust Stalkers. Or no, my infiltrators were here and got killed by Witches, and then he only got to shoot with the Reavers, who killed 3 Rust Stalkers. The Heat Lance did manage to pop one of the Dragoons, which was a little annoying. But the Dragoon also had a 5-up Feel No Pain, because that is the other thing that the Engine Seer gives. He heals you D3 wounds and gives a vehicle model of 5-up Feel No Pain. So one of the Dragoons has a Feel No Pain. And then for this turn 2, the Engine Seer is now over here. He's going to give it to one of these Dragoons. But this is the end of Steve's turn 1. Yeah, he's pushed forward. He's given me plenty of stuff to kill. But again, every single one of these transports is fully loaded. This is the end of my movement phase. No, this is the end of my turn 1. Okay. So I was reactively charged by these Reavers when my infiltrators came forward to try and get to these Witches. but I was able to indirect, shoot, and I think I chipped away a witch squad here down to a single one. And I removed almost everything else. Unfortunately, these Rust Stalkers failed their, I think that was a 7-inch charge that went to a 5. And I rolled a 4, and unfortunately, I was battle shocked, so I could not re-roll that. So these Reavers kind of got to just go ham on my infiltrators. But I know in shooting I picked up all of these, or maybe this is the end of Steve's movement phase. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. This is. Well, we see Steve gets engage and establish locus, as well as 10 primary points, because he does have this objective here on his expansion. Then we go on to, so I do manage to kill off all of the witches that I was in combat with here with the infiltrators, but I do lose most of my infiltrator unit, and I do manage to, I just shoot and then charge my Rust Stalkers here to get back onto the objective. So now I have Dragoons over here as well as Rust Stalkers. So again, in terms of positioning, I'm just really trying to not make little mistakes and accepting the fact that something is going to get reactive charged. In order to play the game, I just need to accept that. I can't just sit in my deployment zone. So the other thing is I'm kind of pushing forward and trying to make it where I can shoot with my tanks as well, not just their indirect. I want to shoot their stubbers, which are very good into Drukhari. So my tanks are definitely poking out. Still have the one back here on indirect to try and screen, because Steve does have 20 Hellions in reserve, one of which you can see rapid ingress up here in the top. So the other thing that I did, my one Dragoon did come back here, charged and popped one of the Venoms. So this is the witches that got out from there. And yeah, I believe, so this is the end of my turn 2. Steve's turn 2. So Steve is basically playing the I'm just going to outscore you game, because he has way more trading pieces and he has bottom of turn. So as long as he can just continually deny me primary, it doesn't matter who wins the trading war. As long as he still has pieces to play all 5 turns, that's all that matters. So he's kind of playing a little, like, he's still playing very aggro, but it's smart aggro. It's just the amount of aggression to make sure that I get 0 primary and continue trading while maintaining that he has a bunch of stuff still in reserve. So now, as you can see, this is the second wave coming in to hit me. You have Hellions up here, which I did overwatch with my Taraxi, and I believe I killed 3 of them, maybe 4. And he does come over, pretty much witches absolutely everywhere, and these Reavers that were right here are now tagging this tank and trying to heat lance it before going in. But yeah, very aggro, very much. He has taken his expansion objective entirely. I've lost my last couple guys over there. And yeah, then you also have Lilith and her witches are preparing to charge this tank. So he's going to tie up both of my tanks and try and take all the objectives. He does a good job of clearing me off the center, and almost all of my stuff ends up in combat over here. So he does kill 4 of the 5 Rust Stalkers. I actually heroically intervened to try and make my Ranger unit was sitting right here. He charged these pink witches in to the Rust Stalkers, and I tried to heroically intervene so his witches that were here had a much further charge into me. Unfortunately, he just made it anyways. I keep doing plays like this, and they just keep making the charges anyways. I think that was a 9-inch charge, and he rolled like an 11, so he just made it. And so yeah, all of my battle line here are definitely gonna die. Shooting did kill 4 of my 5 Taraxi, and I believe in combat here I'm gonna lose 9 of my 10 Rangers, and I lost 4 of my 5 Rust Stalkers, and I think I lost 1 of my 2 Dragoons. This Dragoon over here, it was charged by Lady Malice and all the tanks, just trying to chip away. And I think it lives with 2 wounds left, is what I'm remembering. And yeah, I did take out another witch squad that was just hiding over here down to 1, and I believe there's another witch squad here that I indirectly shot and is down to 1. So I'm just chipping away at all of his action pieces and then hoping that we're playing the trading game and he will run out of resources faster because I'm taking away all of the pieces that are otherwise trying to hide just to swap primary. And basically only the stuff that was in the boats is going to actually be able to really hit me with any amount of force. This is the end of the combat phase. Oh, it does look like I lost both Dragoons. That's pretty rough. And yeah, I have a singular Ranger over here. And yeah, this flank has pretty much collapsed as well. Although I do still have 10 Ruststalkers inside this transport, and I have a 10-man Ranger squad right here that is kind of being blocked by the building. So I'm not completely lost on this flank, but he has certainly killed everything that was available to him. Again, the damage of this detachment is absolutely insane. This is an empty raider on this objective, and I think there probably are 5 witches inside this venom, but that might also be empty. But as you can see, he also took my home. So I'm going to get a complete 0 on primary, thanks to, again, these Reavers are OC2 each, and then witches over here, and he's tagging up my tanks. So I can only shoot them with the respective tanks as they are mounted and infantry. So yeah, definitely all gas on, all gas, no brakes coming in from Steve, which again, I wouldn't expect anything less. So this is the beginning of round 3. As you can see, he has a slight points lead. He had a 10 on primary compared to my 5 because he did very good about round 2 where I'm only going to hold my home. Round 3, I don't even hold my home because he managed to do that. And yeah, I need to kick him off. I did draw Display of Might and Cleanse. I am certainly not getting Display of Might against this many units, and Cleanse is probably not going to happen either, thanks to, as you can see, I don't have anything that can get out here, and I need to focus on killing all of this stuff. This is the end of my movement phase, where you can see Steve has rapid ingress in his second 10-man Hellion squad to basically follow up and just really try and threaten my home for a 3rd time. And yeah, I got out. So essentially over here, because of the way that the reactive charge strat works, all 3 of these, so this one Ranger that was in combat with these witches fell back. This guy stood still because if he moved, he was going to get reactive charged. These both also stood still because I would otherwise get reactive charged. But the guys got out of the transport and moved over here to where I am just outside of 9 of all of this. But I'm going to get +2 because I do have a battle line right there within 6. So it's going to be, I'm just going for the 7-inch charge with a CP reroll in order to get around, again, the reactive charge. However, I am actually going to be in the Shooty Doctrine this turn because, yeah, I wanted everything to kind of stay still, and I don't really need the AP, and being -1 to hit in combat's pretty good against him. But let's see what happens at the end of my shooting phase. So as you can see, I cleaned up a lot. I did kill 5 of the 6 Reavers that were in combat with my tank. I did fully finish off Lilith and her squad, assisted by Call charging in to finish them off. And over here, as you can see, this entire top corner, I had cleared up just about everything, and the 10 Ruststalkers piled in to a Venom to take this objective back. But unfortunately, Steve is going to get a 15 primary, as I could not threaten any of these objectives. But as you can see, I did take out a significant chunk of his stuff. The other thing that happened is my Taraxi came in from reserve down here, and they flamed the 1 witch that was left in this corner, as well as his 5 witches that were kind of screening out his home objective. So I did manage to pick up 2 units there. And then, yeah, everything here, and some indirect managed to chip away to where he only has 7 of the 10 Hellions that are here that rapid ingressed. So obviously I have killed most of Steve's stuff at this point. He's also killed a decent amount of mine, but I do have all of my tanks left. But Steve does have still a commanding board presence. Which you can see by the start of turn 3, he does get another 15 primary, as well as drawing Area Denial, which he already has. He's got an empty Raider there with none of my guys, and Cleanse, which he can also just do with the Raider and a Venom. He has a 22-point lead after primary, and he's about to get 9 more points. So definitely going to create a massive points lead. Again, I scored 0 points on turn 3. So that's obviously not great at all. This is the end of Steve's movement phase. So the Venom fell back from my Raiders, or from my Ruststalkers, and he brings in his 3-man Reaver unit and shoots. He spends a CP because they have fallback, shoot, and charge on everything, I guess. So the Venom fell back and shot into the Ruststalkers, and the Reavers also, their shooting managed to kill off a decent chunk of them. And I think even, no, he cleansed with the Raider. I got shot by this Venom as well. So 2 Venoms and 3 Reavers managed to kill off 6 of my Ruststalkers. And yeah, other than that, he did actually fall back and do a cleanse with these guys. And he went and tied up my Flamers with a empty Venom. But that is the end of his turn. Obviously, he's not hitting me with a lot anymore. He's now in I just need to deny and score points mode, which is fair enough. So going into my turn 4, I do manage to kill off the 3 Reavers. I go to finish off the Venom, and I charge in and I tank shock it to try and take off the last 2 wounds, and I only got 1 mortal on my 11 dice. So that was kind of unfortunate. The Venom lives on 1. I do send one of my tanks forward here where I had Area Denial, and I basically throw the 6 crack missiles from these tanks into this Raider. I wanted to charge this, but unfortunately I did advance with this tank to get it all the way over there to try and get some Area Denial. I do shoot and finish off the last Reaver here, and my indirect shooting does kill 5 of his 7 5 of his 7 Hellions on this objective. I just have to fall back with my Taraxi over here, but at least I am contesting this objective. I've taken this objective, and my indirect almost killed off all of his guys off of his expansion, but I am unfortunately going to give Steve another 10, assuming these guys pass morale, which he's just going to spend the CP to auto pass. But as you can see, I did clean up most stuff. Unfortunately, I did not kill this guy, though, which prevented me from getting Area Denial, which really hurts when I'm already down by 20 plus points. That was unfortunate. And actually, I think I also had Secure. I didn't show, but I know I had Area Denial. I think I also had Secure, which was prevented from being a big Secure by this Raider living. And yeah, so as you can see, I held on to Area Denial. Oh no, I had Assassinate or something like that. Looks like I did score my points there. But unfortunately, I only had my home once again and a 5 points, and I was denied Area Denial, but decided to hold on to it. Steve then draws Tempting Target and Storm Hostile, getting 10 primary. So we are looking at a almost 30-point lead before his secondaries now. Going to be very difficult to make this back up. Storm Hostile and Tempting Target, both of which are relatively easy for him. He basically zooms over with the final Venom that still has some witches in it, and clears out my Ruststalkers, ties up my tank, storms the Tempting Target objective that is up here, and the 2 Hellions go in to basically make sure that I cannot have the home. And then we go into my turn 5. So in my turn 5, now I draw Assassinate, which I do barely get, but I finish off the Raider that I'm in combat with. And this, my Stubbers actually did not kill the 2 Hellions. I left 1 alive on 1. But as you can see, I've killed just about everything else. I'm in combat with a succubus over here. But yeah, then we go to Steve's turn 5. Behind enemy lines, an overwhelming force. He can't get behind enemy lines, but overwhelming force. I think the only things I have on the objectives are tanks, so he's actually not able to get that either. Yeah, I think he had the one Hellion. So because I had Assassinate, I did overwatch the character to get Assassinate when the Succubus fell back to get behind. Overwatched and killed her, but he managed to then, he was able to fall back with the single Hellion, getting a 3-point behind. And yeah, this is the final score. So despite the end of the game where I'm able to kill just about everything of Steve's stuff, he knew the game plan going in of just, I'm going to play aggro, steal every single primary from you. And that's what he did. So at the end of the game, in terms of primary, I held my home on turn 2, on turn 4, and turn 5. And that is the only primary I scored the entire game. He just pinned me in. And that's exactly what you should be playing here with this Spectacle of Spite detachment. And if you look at Steve's videos, that's exactly what he talks about doing with this detachment. And that going second with that army makes it like one of the best armies in the game, because you can do exactly that. And as you can see, despite throwing all of his stuff away, I was just so pinned I couldn't even interact, and he still got to have all of his primary scoring. So despite me having, almost 1,000 points of stuff left alive at the end of the game, and Steve being down to 4 individual models, he beat me by almost 50 points. So in teams, this would be a 19-1. However, I do think I learned how to play against the detachment a lot more. I think I made a lot less mistakes than I did in my game against Nick. Steve is just an incredible player with an incredible list, and he got to execute the game plan that he wanted to execute. But at this point, I feel like this is much more just his army is really good in this matchup, and he got to go second. And I think that has a lot more play rather than it's list disparity, it's army disparity, more than me making tons of little mistakes. So I hope that helps. Hope you guys have enjoyed the last couple of videos that I've put out, and I will keep it up with these battle reports. Again, go ahead and check out Steve's channel. I will post a link down below, but it is also just called Deploy on the Line 40K. Thanks for the game, Steve. Thanks for the butt kicking. But I did really enjoy it, and enjoy learning what some of these absolute top meta monsters can really do. I'll catch you all next time on Into the Hive Mind.